Hi guys and welcome to the channel. My name is Nick O'Leary. Now, I've been making videos on this channel for just over a year now, and quite a few questions do crop up more often than others. Now, I do try and reply to all comments in the comment section on each video. However, here are 10 frequently asked questions on your Mercedes. And at number one, it's the passenger airbag light. So this is a very common question in all Mercedes cars. Somewhere in the middle, there'll be an orange light indicating if the passenger airbag is on or off. Currently right now it's off, and the reason for this is because there's no one sat in this seat. So in this car, it's literally just here. And watch this, as soon as I sit in, a second later, it will go on, just like that. And as soon as the person gets out, it'll go to off, just like that. Now, second on the list is the rear seatbelt sign on the instrument cluster. Now, this should be the same for all Mercedes as far as I'm aware, but basically as soon as you put your foot on the brake and turn the engine on, or in this case the electric motor, you will see a message on the screen warning you of the rear seatbelts. Now, those rear seat belts are currently unclipped and there's no one sat in them. And you're probably wondering, well, why is this message coming up and telling you? Well, in the UK, it's actually the driver's responsibility to make sure that everyone has got their belt on. So the front seats have actually got seat sensors. So if a belt is unclipped and you go above, it's about 10 miles an hour, you'll hear the car binging and beeping at you, telling you, you must put your seatbelt on now. And it will just keep on making this sound until you do. Now, the rear seats are slightly different. You have just a little information screen just here that will appear at the start of every journey, and it purely tells you who's got their belt on. Now, there are no seat sensors in the back. It's purely just for your information. So watch, if I clip in one of the belts, you'll see that this will then change the colour. So it will go from orange warning to grey. There is no warning. So this screen is purely just for information for the rear seats. So next up on our list is the Mercedes Me incomplete configuration message, or in this case, the missing connected profile. They're basically the same thing. Now, I have covered in a few videos before, you can create up to 7 different user profiles in the car. And the reason why this message comes up is purely because you just need to link your profile to your profile here. It's just a link between these two. Now, to be honest, if it's just you driving the car, then I wouldn't worry too much. This is mainly aimed at multiple users who might make use of having different settings and controlling things from here. But the kind of things you can do are things like changing the ambient lights, the exterior light settings, route settings, vehicle settings for your own profile. But the way this works to get it going is in the car, go to the profile selector on the top right of the MBUX screen, and then tap on General and then go to Synchronize Profiles automatically. This will then enable this feature, and you can then set up your profile on here by going to Connect Now and then just following all the steps from here onwards. Now, moving very, very swiftly on to number 4, we have Active Lane Keeping Assist. Now, this is this symbol just here, right in the middle. Now, it's not on all Mercedes-Benz, I should add. And quite simply, it's a picture of a car with 2 kind of lines going this way in the middle of the car. Now, sometimes it's grey and sometimes it's green. And the reason for this is because of the current situation the car's in right now. So if I happen to be out on the road driving and the car can see 2 visible white lines, and sometimes, you know, a car in front as well, this will go green, meaning Active Lane Keeping Assist is on and active. And what this does, if you go over a dashed white line, it will vibrate and rumble the steering wheel. And if you go over a solid white line, it can actually brake the opposite 2 wheels. So say I went over the left-hand side and drifted over to the left, it will brake these 2 to jolt you back into lane. Now, it is a jolt, it's not a smooth motion. If you didn't want it to do that, say you're coming off a motorway or something, you can just indicate and it will switch that system off. Or if you wanted, you can switch it off in here on the settings menu. Now, if it's white or kind of grey at the moment, this will indicate that it's not on. Reason for this is because I'm inside and I haven't driven anywhere at the moment, and the cameras can't see any visible white lines. So this is the difference between this. If it's grey or kind of a white colour, it's off. If it's green, it's on. And while we're on the topic of safety systems, Active Brake Assist is our next one. Quite simply, this is a red warning triangle on this screen here. So if you ever see this, this is purely an indication that you're a little bit too close to the car in front. Now, it has been called other names as well and has improved over the years to offer even more features. So it used to be called collision prevention assist or just brake assist. The most common one now is active brake assist, and the word active on the new cars means it will actively do something for you. So in active brake assist's case, quite simply, you have a red warning triangle if you're too close to the car in front. You'll have a beeping sound if the car thinks you're going to have a collision with that car, and if you haven't taken any action, it can even apply the brakes autonomously. Now, because of the many variation of Mercedes-Benz models over the year, do check with your Mercedes-Benz dealer, but obviously please don't try this out. For safety reasons, I can't obviously get that to appear on the screen on the road, because otherwise I'd have to get really close to someone. But if you put the ignition on without the engine, or in this case the electric motor, here is the red warning triangle just here. So red triangle with a picture of the car in the middle, that is active brake assist. Next up on our list is the SOS Not Ready icon, found usually on the top left or top right of the multimedia system. Now, it is in red, so it does capture a lot of people's attention, and the reason for this saying SOS Not Ready is usually because the car's ignition or the car's engine is off. Now, as soon as you turn the car on, that message will go green or disappear, and it is separate to the actual SOS button in the roof of the car. So if you didn't know, there is actually a big red button in the roof that allows you to phone the emergency services. So these will include things like police, ambulance or fire, that kind of thing. Now, this actually refers to the car's automatic call function. So if an airbag goes off, it will basically call the emergency services for you. And the reason why it says not ready is because the car's off, it's not going to do that. If it's green or that message isn't there, then it can do that. And that's purely what that refers to. Next up, we've got internet in the car. Now, this is a common question that does get asked on how people can send internet from their phone, for example, to the car, but it doesn't work that way around. So the best way of me describing it is, at home, you have the internet come into the house and then go to your Wi-Fi router, for example, and then it sends it out to all of your devices. That's the same thing in the car here. So the internet will come into the car and then go out to your devices. So you don't send internet this way, it only comes out this way to your devices. Now, yes, there is a browser on the screen, but you wouldn't normally use this just because it'd be greyed out when driving anyway, for safety. But you'll find the processors and the graphics in phones are going to be a lot more vivid and a lot faster, more easier to use on the phone, obviously parked up at the side of the road, than using it in the car anyway. So basically, internet comes from a mobile mast into the car and goes out to your devices. Yes, you do have to pay for this, just like you would with your smartphone, for example. You probably pay monthly for the data. Same thing here. The only scenario I think that I would probably use it is if I went on a road trip, for example, and I had people in the back and I didn't want them to use the data on my phone. You could pay maybe for a month or two just to use some data and send that out to your friends and family, and they can use the data on the car. That's how that works. Next up on the list, guys, is video playback on MBUX. I do get this question asked quite a bit on how you can do this. Now, to be honest, it does depend on the specification of your Mercedes, because not all of them can do it. From what I have seen, it's code 549 that you'll need on your spec sheet, but rather annoyingly, it's not actually listed in any brochures or anything. So the only way you'd find that out is by asking your local dealership. So honestly, you just have to try it to see if it works. I have seen that code 549 is linked to the Mercedes-Benz augmented reality. So that's the very fancy sat-nav that shows you the live camera feed of the road ahead and then puts the blue arrows over the top of it telling you exactly which way to go. It's very neat. Now, I'd imagine with that, to get this code 549, there's probably some more graphical processors or some more computing power behind the scenes which depicts why you can play videos like this. So if you plug a memory stick into a car that doesn't have that, it will just play the audio. So this is probably why when you've got that augmented reality, then you've got some more power to be able to cope with video playback. has to be plugged into a memory stick and has to be formatted to one of the common Windows formatting systems. So just from memory, that's exFAT or FAT32 or NTFS. The Mac formatting won't work, so it has to be Windows. So next on our list is the Phonebook. Now, sometimes when you connect a Bluetooth device, you'll find that the Phonebook won't immediately copy across. Now, with all modern phones, especially iPhones, this is an automatic process. However, if the setup process was interrupted by someone calling you or texting you, or even if a notification came through, you'll find the Phonebook won't be there. So if I go onto Phonebook now, there's nothing there, even though my phone's connected and ready to take calls. So the only way around this is to quite simply just delete your phone off of the car and then delete the car off of the phone. So on the car, if I go to Bluetooth at the very, very bottom, find my device, and then I'm just going to deauthorize that one. So that's that gone. And then on the phone, I'm going to go to, where's the car? MBUX 72343, tap on the I and forget this device. Now, just before I tap that, you see where it says sync contacts. If I did press that after that first setup, it's still not going to work. You have to do it in that first initial setup. So let's forget this device and start again. And then you just connect the phone like normal. So we'll get the card to search for the phone, and of course just make sure you're on the Bluetooth page. If you're on the home screen, then it won't work. Make sure you're on that Bluetooth page, and then I can connect the phones up. This will then send the code through to the phone, which is always the right code. This is the bit here, allow contacts and favorites sync. If you don't press allow here, or you tapped on something else, then it won't work. And now all of my contacts will be here. Well, they're loading up now, so I've got a few on there, and they'll all be there very, very shortly. And then the final one today, guys, is the charge status just on here on the instrument cluster, and more specifically on the consumption screen. Now, this is not a hybrid on an electric car, and yet it still has this charge symbol just here. So this is why a few people ask, what is this charge thing and why is it there? So what it does is when you take your foot off the accelerator, it'll actually start charging up the 12-volt battery, which is on the inside. Now, all cars do this anyway, except in Mercedes there's a stat just to show you when it's doing so. But that's it really. That's all that charge thing does. It just kind of highlights and goes green as you take your foot off the accelerator, and it's just the alternator charging the battery up. Now, if you have a hybrid or an electric car, then that is going to be slightly different. It'll factor in some brake recuperation and things like that. But for a normal petrol and diesel car, that's it. And there we have it, guys. That concludes this week's video on 10 frequently asked questions on your Mercedes. Let me know, guys, if you have any questions on your Mercedes in the comments section down below. Don't forget that like button if you liked what you saw, and do hit that subscribe button if you want to see more future videos just like this one. Thanks again for watching. See you next week.